Okay.
Hey.
Well, there we go.
Evening, everyone.
Hey, guys.
How's it going? Evening, everybody. I'm your host, Jonathan. Welcome to Mecha Pew Pew. I'm with my co-host, Ariel. Also, you probably know him better for AO Mecha. How are you, Ariel?
Hey, good. John, how's it going?
Always
Guys,
good.
welcome. I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. The last couple episodes of Mecha Pew Pew has been so much fun. Got a lot of feedbacks and hope to bring you guys more and exciting shows. Also, thank you guys for helping AO Mecha channel achieve one of the milestones for the channel. So yeah, as you could probably see, there's a super chat option there. So don't forget to check that out when you guys get a chance.
What's that exactly, a super chat?
Yeah, so super chat basically is another way to help the channel in regards to getting revenue. So basically, people would donate towards super chat. The chat then becomes highlighted so that we could discuss someone that's of support of the channel, and all the revenue towards that is going to be put back towards the production, value for the show or upcoming events and all kinds of stuff for our show. Be
really
it Mecha
nice.
Pew Pew. Yeah, or Mecha Pew Pew or AO Mecha Live or any of the reviews and productions that's going to be pumping out of the channel in the future. So again, guys, thank you so much for unlocking that. And welcome to another awesome Mecha Pew Pew. John here is very excited for it.
It is. Very amazing subject. Exactly. I've been wanting to talk about it for a while. This is the scene. This is the place where we're going to do it. And the subject is resin, right? And I think the best to talk about resin is our amazing roster of guests. So we have, let's start, Xiao, my good friend. Xiao is an avid modeler, IPMS legend, resin builder for many years. And tell us more about yourself.
So hi everybody. So this is Xiao, and thank you John and Ariel for this opportunity to introduce me. So basically, I'm a model maker, and to clarify the IPMS legends, just because I just win some reward in several IPMS shows. So I guess they brought me here, and also because of that, so I'm honored to become the GPWC Canada judges for the in 2018 and 2017.
Amazing.
Awesome.
That's
amazing.
And our first super chat. Thank you. Look at that. Super chat. Nice. Shout out to Jonathan Velasquez. Thank you so much for that. Awesome. And thank you, Xiao. And yeah, like we're going to be talking a lot about your work as well, specifically with resin throughout the show and in a bit. And up next, I think I'd like to introduce Kas Adams. She has been working with a lot of really unique stuff, especially in mecha, both in like plastic, resin, 3D, digital. Like, what else have you not done?
Well, I'm really a bad football player, so
Nice.
My hands are too small. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you mind doing a quick bio for us, so for the folks that might not know you as well?
Okay. Well, I make guns for video games, and so I do this digitally, and a really great tie-in to my other hobbies is to tie it with 3D printing. So I've been designing all kinds of mecha and weapons and stuff like that. You can see a whole bunch of them. I keep going the wrong way. Whole bunch of stuff behind me here. Most of that is 3D printed. I do have a 5-star stories kit up here, though.
Awesome. And we're going to take a look at those awesome kits as well in a bit. But yeah, Jonathan.
That's amazing. Yeah, but well, to start the subject, I think we could go into definition, right? Resin is such a broad subject that I think we needed to like set the boundaries and like what it is in the world of modeling and stuff like that. Everybody can correct me if I'm wrong, because I think we all have great knowledge. Basically, resin is either a natural compound or a byproduct. It can also be not confused, but like interchanged with epoxy. So a lot of times there's a 2-part resin, but there's other things like UV resin or solvent resin that just dries and cures. So basically, resin, the way we talk about it, is a liquid material often high viscosity that will harden, right? And what that means is that you can shape multiple things. And in our case, mechas. That means that, so 3D printing has been using resin UV for the past few years, but traditionally, a lot of modelers have been doing their own model. Artists have been creating their own models and recasting it for people to enjoy. So basically, we can enjoy the artist's work into the modeling work that we do. I think that's defines it probably. So basically, there's a process. We're gonna 3D printing is pretty easy, right? Computer generated, and then the UV just creates layer by layer. But the traditional method, and that's one that we're like I'm the most familiar with, is often basically an artist will create his parts, either full resin or well, we're gonna explain the different types that exist of kits. But in terms of process, it's often the same. Traditionally, is that there's a design. They will put it in a molding agent, often silicone, and then the silicone will be injected with resin. So slowly, the resin will creep everything into liquid, and everything will be created, and you will be able to produce the slightest, tiniest details. And a lot of people have been creating kits like that. And back in the days, it used to be like the go-to for high detail items. Plastic injection was not as good as it is today. So resin used to be like the go-to, and today we get a lot of different stuff. Yeah, I think that's a quick definition.
A very good summary, actually. That being said, coming from someone who's not as versed in resin, to me that was a lot of information to process. So I'm gonna approach this guy from a newbie kind of perspective. So that's how I'm gonna see it. My questions are gonna be definitely from a beginner's POV. So I think what we could start off with is the different types of resin. We're going to be mainly talking about, I guess, mecha genre, because Mecha Pew Pew is the title. And if you guys are ever wondering, like where to start, or like maybe like, what is out there? How do I even get to it? Like a lot of people have been curious. And number one, do your research. But number two, before we get to the companies, do you want me to show them the different types of like conversion and full resin? Or
absolutely. That would be great. Yeah.
Okay.
Over, like, the different,
So if you guys bear with me, I'm gonna take the screen real quick. Let's start off with what kind of parts are you to expect when you're doing resin? So I pulled out some images here to help maybe explain a little bit about resin, specifically with Mecha, both on conversion kits and full kits. So typically resin comes in like a monotone color of like a light color-ish yellow, beige yellow. Sometimes it's like white, sometimes it's red. I think it's just a different material type that they use for it, but it's still resin in regards to the compound for the polymer. Now, when you see kits online, most of the ads that you guys are probably going to see are something similar to this. You get this nice, beautiful shot of what it's supposed to look like, but when if it's your first time buying resin, you're actually getting a unpainted set of parts, and this is for a conversion kit. And it's not 100% clean. There's going to be a lot of work involved in it because these are recast. That meaning that somebody took the original mold and the original pieces, made a mold out of them, and used resin as the material to make the parts that you're going to be using, which is resin.
One thing to keep in mind is that if you see these parts and the box and the image and everything, it's very do-it-yourself approach, because we have to keep in mind that these guys are artists first, not the commercial aspect is secondary to them. So like they're high-end artists that create these things. So you can notice that a lot of them, don't be scared, a lot of them come in like brown boxes, a lot of in like just basic color boxes with sticker on it. It's nothing like to be scared of, because the quality of the package does not reflect the quality of the product.
Right. So just want to talk about conversion kits. So you probably heard of things like conversion kits. So conversion means like you're turning one thing and converting it to another. With regards to the resin parts or conversion kit parts for resin, you will have a base kit which is like your model kit from like say Gundam or whatever series it's from that the resin is made for, and you're going to swap parts out and replace them with said resin to either enhance the detail or to replicate a different design altogether. So here are some examples of what those resin conversion kits would look like.
That's it.
Yep. So you will still see the inner frame and skeleton and all that stuff being used typically, and that most of the time it's like the armor or the limbs or even like the hands, especially facial features and all that stuff, weapons, backpacks, the whole nine. It could be very simple as an armor swap, or it could be as complex as like a full-on you have to glue, pin vise, whole bunch of techniques for the rest of the resin.
Yeah, we'll talk about the different techniques also later on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all the different ways.
So I'm just going to cycle through some of the resin conversion kits. So let's just go back once. So here is an example of the Barbados with like a lot of resin parts put into it, but still retaining some of the inner frame from the original plastic kit. At the end of it, like later on, when it's painted, because it's monochrome, it doesn't matter what color it is, if it's like colorful or not. But at the end of the day, the goal is to paint it with a different color so that you get a nice product. And that comes down to your preference of whatever color scheme or material of choice you're going to use.
Keep in mind, a lot of these parts are not color separated. It's sometimes, like let's say on a classic kit, the shoulder will be 4 parts. The resin will be 1. Which means you're going to have to mask and mask and mask, right?
Exactly. Have you guys, for Xiao and Kas, have you guys worked on resin conversion kits?
Usually for me, it's like I mostly work on just full resin kit though. Not really touching about conversion because I'm mostly a ship guy, and in terms of conversion of ships, there are not that many kits. So
yeah, it also doesn't make sense.
Starting from zero, it's like full resin kit.
Yeah.
Right. How about you, Kas?
Yeah, I also prefer the full resin kits. Let's see, if I'm gonna do a conversion kit, I would rather make my own conversion kit with 3D printing.
Absolutely, and we're gonna get to that. You mentioned full resin, and I think I'm just gonna go through a little bit more example of like what it looks like before. So again, like not everything is gonna be resin. In some cases, some of them will be, and this is for the conversion kit side. Now, when we get to, I guess one more. This one is a favorite of John, the Red Comet Conversion. As you can see, this is like the plain master grade, but with the resin conversion kit, with all the details and whatnot, you get this nice upgraded design for said Zaku or any base kits, right?
That's beautiful.
It is so cool. There's also like metal parts, but again, that's a different topic, I think, altogether when we're going for the detail up. And we're going to have an episode of that as well.
No, but actually, we because it depends on the brand, right? We'll talk about it later. Don't worry. It's going to be a fun episode.
Exactly. And some examples of finishes. This one, again, you can't even tell anymore what's plastic and what's resin because like once the paint goes in, bam. Again, really good practice, but if you're a beginner, it can be daunting. Just please try it. I think that's what I'm going to be trying to do as well for my resin kit when I eventually get to paint it. Now, full kits. Full kits. I'll talk about full kits real quick. This means that the whole thing, inner frame or not frame, it's pretty much the whole kit itself is going to be in resin. And typically they're recast of said original mold. So somebody designed this most likely using plastics and whatnot, but then the caster would take that plastic and replicate it using the resin compounds. So in regards to full kits, they come in various different again, details and sizes, but at the end of the day, they're going to be most likely like static because you don't want them moving too much. They're not going to be a toy. And most of the time with static resin, they're going to be in fixed poses or a defined fixed poses, right? Do you guys find that when you guys are working with your full kit, full resin kits, that like you would have like add magnets or something to like make it articulate or change again later on?
Yeah, so I will use magnet just in case if something falls off, and also for paintings, adding magnet is also easier for me to get access to the parts.
Yeah,
magnets.
Yeah, same. I magnetized half of my 5-Star Stories kit. It made it so much easier to handle and paint.
Nice.
I mean, the classic method, I think, is pinning. So instead of magnets, you just like drill deeper, put a pin and drill on the other side and pin. The only problem is that that creates very static poses.
Mm-hmm. Well, unless you're going for, but if you're going for stability, then definitely.
Yeah,
static.
exactly.
Just continuing on the different types of resin, we talked about conversion kit, we talked about the full kit. Let's talk about weapons as well. So another thing that you probably see in the market, especially for mecha genre, Gunpla and Gundam and all that, and mecha in general, would be the weapons. So for example, here, this one is a resin recast of the body, but sometimes resin weapons will come with like metal parts to mix it up, and I think some of them might be even like full-on wires. Let's go to the next one here. To even like a more complex weapon where it's like full kind of like sized resin kit here. So yeah, I think that
you have to keep in mind this is like resin is an artist tool. A lot of commercial company will not do it. Only recently that a lot of resin companies have been commercializing these things. Like it's insane how amazing the packaging can be, amazing how the product can be. Stuff we used to not get right. I think talking about that, we can jump on maybe the different types and different companies that exist out there. I think I split it into various sections, and I think it's going to be interesting to go about it. But
actually, I have a question before we get to that. To Kas and Xiao here. Like, do you guys have like a go-to preferred brand or company when you guys are selecting your purchases for your kits?
For me, it's like on my purposes is I'm looking for ships, and on normal the priority is to wait for C3. I think we're gonna talk about the C3 conversion later on, and the second one is I'm gonna go for the pirate ones, because on Chinese website called Taobao, there's a lot of resin kit on there, and the price is pretty like pretty low, I mean they are pretty cheap, so easy to access, and there are lots of varieties. And if I cannot find the resin kit, then I will go for 3D printing. Because
nice.
I work in a 3D printing company. So
you two are 3D. I forgot.
as long as I can find the files and I can let my coworker to print it out.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Kas? Do you have a go-to brand when you're trying to find a resin kit?
I sure wish I could afford Volks kits, but
yeah, no, exactly.
They're so hard to get, and I have very specific tastes on what types of kits that I want to buy, and most of them are just not available. So I have to get the recasts in my case.
Call me. I'll
yes, please.
He's not just a plastic pusher; he's also a resin pusher at the thing here.
Exactly.
Guys, if you guys have any questions at all during the show, don't forget to write questions on front of your messages. That way I could flag it, ask these guys your questions. And I think there was one question from GUNPLA Razzi. Chris, what's resin? I think we just went over what resin is. So shout out to Chris on that one.
Amazing.
Okay, and also GUNPLA Miami just joined in. Quinn has been here as well. I'm just going to go through some and say hi to everybody here. Hey, GUNPLA. Neon Wave, Rani is here, Colin is here, Riot, how's it going? Oh my God, lots of people. Edsel here as well. Gundam in the window. Oh my God, to the window, to the floor, from the sweat drip down my plastic. It didn't rhyme at all.
1,000. So 2,000. But yeah, so if we want to talk about how the packaging is made, right? So. And that's going to segue later on into the different companies that exist and what is out there in different categories. I think that we ended up classifying them into. So let's go into
what is the I try. So usually, let me try to get the mic. There we go. So this is a infinite dimension kit. As you can tell, okay. So I'm going to start off with like the artist area, where like usually comes in a black box and everything, and it comes like sometimes it comes with decals, and it's just going to come in a plastic bag, and this is going to be a conversion kit, right? So this one is going to be just in one Ziploc bag, and the presentation is not as nice, but the quality is one of the best. So you can never like relate to the box, but I can show you a different one here. Infinite Dimension. What was that again? Let me open it. Providence. Yes, that's the Providence. So the box is quite amazing. Oh, forgot to talk about manuals. So most of the time there is no manual. Most of the time you figure it out on your own, right? But when, like I was saying, in the recent years, commerciality of these products have gone through the roof, especially on the Chinese market and Taiwanese market. Basically now, like these, like, you know, you can like a full decal sheet right here, and like the manuals are now like color printed, and like it's made by true artists and manual makers, I could say. See, like a full manual, super well defined. This is Infinite Dimension, and I consider it one of the best out there in terms of user friendly. Maybe in some sort of quality, but as you can tell, instead of being in one big bag, it comes all separated.
And sometimes like they're all like in one giant runner because they just peel it off. Like,
yeah, exactly. But one of the thing is quality is that these things, they require a lot of work. I don't know if you can tell. There's a flashes, not flashes, but nubs. I can say when they cut off the tree from the resin. It's like a plastic injection kit, except made of resin, right? Because resin can be cold casted instead of boiling hot casted. And then there's different companies also. The 51. You see, and then this is basically, long story short, Infinite Dimension left his job. Anchoret left his job at Infinite Dimension, started his own company called Yao Jilan. So same type of box, same style.
These are really impressive.
So these
what do you look for? Hang on, like, let's go into Kas and this one. What do you look for when you're looking at these like boxes? Like, what's impressive?
Well, the full color manual, like,
yeah.
Everything is like professionally printed. All of the resin kits that I've owned so far are just like laser jet printed.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
have half their ink missing. Yeah, no decals to speak of.
Like this, there's no manual in this one. This one is literally just a bag, right? One bag.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm used to seeing.
I'm sorry, what?
Is that a selling point for you guys? If you guys, a company has like a full-on production, would you favor them more over than someone that just has like, you know, a black and white laser jet printer ink, you know, manual? Or
Well,
does it?
For me, like, the design is king. If the person with the laserjet printer came up with something really beautiful, and maybe it has its flaws, but it's so cool, I'm gonna buy that kit every time.
Yeah, no,
Nice.
exactly. It's how you feel, right? So we buy the kit not only for the product, but also for the emotion that it gives us when we open it. So when we open it and it comes with great presentation, like it's extra points, right?
Yeah.
So this leads into defining the different brands and different categories that exist out there. And that was me and Ariel's perspective. You guys can chime in as much as you want, like, honestly.
I know Xiao's gonna say Fleetmo, but like
that comes in my first category. So first category, I'm going to call it the legal area. So legal area is a licensed area. So when there's a intellectual property, basically, so there is, how can I say that? So there's a few conventions across the year, right? So these conventions, like C3, like Xiao was mentioning earlier, a lot of artists go to these conventions and they're licensed by Bandai for this one event to sell this one kit for this one time. This is why a lot of resin can go up in price aftermarket, because it's a lot of scalpers, because it's a limited run. And a lot of kits that come out of there are like just beautiful and amazing. Now, a lot of things, if you want to see, let's go back over there. A licensed kit will always have this little Gundam sticker on it. This is the representation of like Bandai. Sorry, not all licensed. Bandai license items will have this this sticker. I don't have a Bandai license
resin, but so
You did not hear that, guys.
so
Actually, let me pump up your screen real quick. Okay, there you go.
There you go. So the
I
thing
thought you were
is,
gonna show some more.
oh no,
Okay.
But the thing about these resin is that legality it comes, and there's also this. How can I say that? It's a very complex thing, and we're not into like the legality debate right here. We're into explaining the different area. So there's other things like Bandai own company called B Club. So B Club makes usually full resin or conversion. I think they stopped production. I don't know if you can correct me, Xiao. Did they stop making B Club?
Pretty sure they stopped. I haven't found their kits for a while now.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen.
In a long time.
Yeah, exactly. I think there used to be a B Club magazine. There used to be, yeah, that's it. B Club is done. That's what the Ragalala has been saying.
By the way, hey Patrick.
Yeah, no, B Club used to be like the go-to for the company. It was Bandai's own resin department, which was like, it was quality for the like, what is it, 90s, 80s, and before, because that was the one way to go to back in the days, right? Now Volks is a Japanese company who's been specializing in CERN resin. They own the intellectual property of 5-Star Stories, which is considered one of the best mecha design in resins.
Kas, your go-to if you could afford it, Volks.
Yes.
You mentioned it earlier.
Yes, exactly.
Have you actually worked on Volks before though? Or do you own any Volks? I know you've done 5-Star Story, but like, have you actually worked on a Volks kit before?
Me, no.
Nice. We'll change that.
Please.
And after that, another licensed product is Fleet Mo, which is Xiao's specialty. He's probably the number one Fleet Mo builder in.
Xiao, can you tell us about Fleet? Okay, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do something really fun.
Oh, nice. Change.
I got it. Where's Xiao?
There you go.
Thanks.
Nice.
Legal
So, Xiao.
stuff, huh? This is legal.
I'm gonna ask you something for this one. If for a person who's never touched Fleet Mo before,
Okay.
try selling me why Fleet Mo is the best. Why it's your go-to.
Okay, so basically for those Gundam ship love fans, Bandai used to create ship models. They used EX brand, but EX is no more. So there's no way to find a ship model anymore. So basically on the market right now, I know there are some Japanese modelers. They are doing the ship design, but they are 1/1200 scale, and which is tied to the old Bandai kits. So Fleet Mo, and he have the same scale as EX model, so which is 1700. And the Fleet Mo kit is really well detailed, and I can show you in my presentation later on.
Yeah.
And also there are some new Chinese designer I find on Taobao, and they do other ships which is Fleet Mo doesn't cover. So basically, if you want to build a ship, and that's your only options, I would say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Because I've seen you post your ships, and I can't wait to actually talk about those ships as well. Let's swing it back to John. Let's continue on with.
Yeah, absolutely. And after that, obviously the list is endless. All these lists are endless, and then after that, you can probably find the original artist, product by independent company. There's like tons of that out there and stuff like that. Now, the second gray area, which is my favorite, is the gray area. So the gray area is, I call it the gray area, but it's a non-licensed intellectual property that still uses the inner frame of the Bandai product, right? So you need the Bandai product, and you add on stuff like decals, but instead of that, it's resin parts. So you basically use the artist designs to put on the Bandai frame, which is a gray area. So in these companies, there's a lot of famous designers. Yaoji Lan. So like I was showing Yaoji Lan. Where is Yaoji Lan?
And John, just 1 second. I just want to say shout out to Seth for subscribing. Another 2 months a tier for our Twitch stream. So Seth, thank you so much for that. Very appreciative of it. Thank you.
So this is a Yaoji Lan box, right? This is a highly professional box. I think it's and that's the thing, right? Over the years, like Yaojiland and I mean, all of them are competing in their own market, in the resin market. So yeah, so and these guys have been considered one of the best these days. The design are getting really like eclectic, so it's something to watch out for. After that, you have I have no idea how to spell that. I only read it, right? Yeah, Aether.
Hang on. Let's can we just appreciate something real quick, John? Cat, can you tell us a bit about your cat? We have a couple of audience here. Just noticed your cat, adorable cat. They're worshiping the sun god cat right now, like the Egyptian times. Who's our little extra guest here that's filling in? Oh, guys, sorry. Sheldon has had a technical issue, so I don't know when he's gonna be coming back. So we're being replaced currently by Kas's cat. And can you tell us about your cat?
Her name is Hexa. She's from California. She was a stray.
Aww.
Beautiful.
And now she's mine.
It's amazing how stray cats can become like house cats overnight. Like they're made to relax and chill at home. But like, or be wild.
She wants a lap.
Okay, our show has now been taken over tonight. It's not Resin Night anymore. It's going to be like, let's look at this kitty. But before that, though, shout out to Call Me Animal. Owen just subscribed also another 2 months for the Twitch stream. So thank you so much for that, Owen. Again, your support is greatly appreciated. And Kas's cat is just adorable as hell. Okay, let's just cancel the whole show. Let's focus on this moment right here. It's going to be awesome.
Beautiful.
She's my buddy.
Okay, John, let's go.
Sure, yeah.
Focus, let's go, man.
Yeah, no, it's hard. Okay, so Aether, I think, has been producing a lot of kits recently. So we have, I think they did a crossbone recently, one of their best work. Fortune Meow, amazing details, highly like sharp corners. It's honestly, all of them are different, right? But all of them have some appeal to everybody, and depending on what you like, you go for it. But like the 51 recently has released a beautiful Suzabi. Topless Studio, Model Bingo. You were showing the Model Bingo earlier. It's the God Gundam.
Is it the God? Okay, hang on. I don't have the share screen right now, but like I'll swing back that one, John.
And these are all independent artists or team of artists working under one umbrella that's just been pumping out, like commercializing these products, right? Now, who else? AOK, Silver Row, Maniac Studio, Madworks, Side 3, Simpro, and Infinite Dimension. Infinite Dimension does not exist anymore, but it used to be. I think, honestly, I'm gonna say it out loud. Infinite Dimension is what made resin popular again, I think.
Wow.
Resin Conversion. Resin Conversion.
So get this. Okay. I want to show you guys the resin kit that I have, and it's from Infinite Dimension, and it's for the conversion of the RX-78 Origin. Yeah. Do that one. Can't find it at all. It's just vanished. And I think it's because I was like moving all my backlog boxes from one storage to another, and it's somewhere in like the piles and piles of boxes of backlogs, and we need to obviously get rid of that. But I think if I ever find that season 3, I will paint it live, because I think that's going to be a fun experiment. And I think we chatted about that, John, about Infinite Dimension. The thing I like about that one, sorry just to cut in, is like for me, like what you guys are talking about, the production value that they put in to the box art, the actual painted model samples, and the instructions and their packaging. Really good stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I think that when they released their Suzabi, it kind of changed the game of resin again. One of the things is that I'm not sure if it's related, and that is a rumor, but when Bandai starts tracking down on the Chinese market, they kind of rebranded. Apparently, that is not the real thing. What happened is that there was a fight between the head designer called Anchoret. Anchoret is one of the number one, honestly, one of the best modeler in the world, one of my favorite. And he was the head designer for, not the head designer, I'm going to say the main designer of Infinite Dimension. Now he's like, fuck you guys, I'm starting my own company. He hired his own, he basically brought the entire team from Infinite Dimension to his own company and started Yaojiland. Yeah, that worked out pretty well for him, because now Yaojiland is considered, like, all their kits are mass produced, like, amazingly. After that, we hit the danger zone, right?
Danger zone. Sorry, I just.
So that was
Rip headphone users.
pull out the guitar. Like,
logins because I think we're gonna be in the danger zone. I'm done. I'm out.
That's the keyword, right? That's your safe word.
Yeah.
So danger zone, I'm gonna say like it's full resin. Full resin is a danger zone simply because it's literally almost a bootleg because it uses like the entire kit, right? It's its own kit. You don't need any Bandai kit. It's a full resin kit that works on its own. And I'm not talking about like when you work on your own original things, right? When you work on your own original thing, it's your own design and like you go at it. Like there's no intellectual property thing. But I actually, there's only one that came to my mind right now. I don't know if you guys have any, but G-System has been known to make some conversions, but mostly
has been around for years. Like,
oh yeah.
Started or something like that.
And they specialize in making like super oversized. So I'm talking about like 135 EXS. That's massive. That's like a small kid, right?
Hey, Xiao, during the conventions you went to, have you seen any of the G systems in display or painted?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Nice.
What do you think? Do you remember how it was?
Just let me go. Actually,
you have pictures?
Just let me share my screen for now.
Amazing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Show me the stuff and show the cat as well.
Yeah. So C3, like just as for reference, C3 is a Japanese convention where a lot of models are released. A lot of like artists are going to release their own work. A lot of tools, a lot of companies, and it's basically a modeler's haven, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, Xiao was there 2 years ago, last year, I think.
2019. Last year was online.
Oh, beautiful.
So here we go. This one is an example of one of the G systems.
But being at C3, Japanese are really care a lot about license. So I believe that this is probably a licensed kit if it's at a convention. Yeah.
Yeah. So expect this thing to be gone in the first hour, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
And one of the problems is that after we hit when we're gonna hit number 4, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna explain to you why it's kind of bad that everything is gone in the first hour. Oh, that's beautiful. Can you zoom into that one? Like 5-star stories. Go up. 5-star story. Yeah. Oh, that is nice.
Like, what's the scale on that? That looks huge.
I didn't remember though. I'm not really big 5-star guy though. Okay, I think that's all the photo I take for that kid.
What
It
about
might
the-
be
she's-
1/100. They're kind of tall. The 5-star story kits are kind of tall compared to Gundam kits, so it might be a 1/100. Mine's a 1/100,
Helmet, nice.
and it's pretty tall. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, they are much taller. That's absolutely true. Like, because I think it's just part of the design, right? They have
Oh my
high
god,
heels.
sexy girls.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, they do that on CC too.
Nice.
Amazing.
Okay.
Oh god.
So we're gonna get some more of that Xiao in a bit. Let's finish up.
Yeah. There's actually a cross-reference in the hobby of what they call it basically garage kits, right? So, and garage kits is usually referred to as in the figures community, where because it's just an interchangeable hobby, transferable skills. So a lot of people do figures, and so that's why like you can find both at the same show. And basically, the last section I'm going to call them a pure evil section. So pure evil is basically companies that go to C3. They buy one resin kit, will recast it, and recast the recast. And basically what you end up with is you're stealing from artists. You have bad molds, bad casting, and you have no customer service, I guess. And to list one, we have E2046. So E2046 is a hit or miss because sometimes they buy from artists and they resell, and 90% of the time they're going to recast the shit out of a kit and basically release bad products. So I think that concludes our definition of the different areas that exist.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I didn't know that. Just circling back on that, I don't know if you guys knew about those level of tiers. Like, what's your perspective on that? Let's start with Kas. She's been kind of quiet. So there's like many different companies and all that stuff. We know Volks is not definitely one of your thing. Like, have you dealt or like was looking into other companies and maybe have some POVs on like resin companies?
Well, I just have always had confusion so far with all of the different. There's so many different companies, and then there's different websites that have all different companies as well. So you never really know who's making what unless you actually do quite a bit of research. I have an ESX 1/35th, I think scale bust.
That's
okay.
bust. Okay.
Yeah, just the bust, just the bust.
That is a little bit.
I don't even know who cast it, and I've also got a Kshatriya kit. It's not the fabled one, but
We're gonna get some kits here.
yeah, like here's my experience with this stuff. It's
yeah.
It's literally like scotch taped on.
Not exactly.
Oh my god. NG, that's Neo grade?
Yeah.
Neo grade, right?
Is that the person who casts it?
I think so. That's one of the companies. Actually, I'm just gonna see if Sheldon could make it in. Let's see if Sheldon, is your mic working?
I think so. Is
Yes!
it
Amazing.
Yes!
Oh yes!
All right, right at the midpoint hour, guys. Sheldon from Vancouver, BC, is joining us. But we're gonna introduce Sheldon in a bit. But let's finish yours up, Kas. Like, what are you showing there?
Yep. So, well, just to show you how big this is, it's a chonker. This is the wing binder. I've modified this, but this is the wing binder for the Kshatriya kit.
And guys, size don't matter.
It's a big kit. I love big kits. And then the other one I have to show is this custom kit. So this is another one that's just like printed on the box and everything, but like this one's even more.
Oh yeah, exactly. Don't bother like the quality of the packaging does not reflect the quality of the product.
Like this is just an inkjet printer with the instructions, but it's such a cool design, and I know that it's a custom work. It's a custom person's doing, so that makes me even more happy to buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
I want to support the artists like that. It's so cool.
Exactly.
Let's that's awesome. We're gonna talk a little bit more about like your stuff because like they have a couple of show and tells that we're gonna get to. We're gonna do a roundtable show and tells after we introduce Sheldon on screen now. How's it going, man?
Hey.
Hello, welcome Sheldon.
Yep.
So earlier,
Sorry.
It's all good. I'm glad you're here. We were just talking about like some of the companies, just to catch you up. Some of the companies, some examples of like boxes and what to expect inside the boxes, both conversion kits, full kits, that kind of stuff. But before we get too far in, Sheldon, do you mind doing a couple of points, a little introduction on who you are, what you do, and why you like resin? There we go. How you like resin?
Why I like resin? I think because when I was in grade 4 or 5, and I went to a model shop and saw a 100 scale Night of Gold like pre-built. So it's like, wow, it's nothing I have ever seen before. It's like totally different from Gundam. So I'm just, I wish I could build that one day. So
yeah. Nice. And
same,
you've been
honestly.
You've been working with resin for some time. Like, what are some of your recent projects that you're working on, man?
I'm working on the Infinite Dimension IX78 right now, but it still takes a long time to finish. And what else? And another is my IX78, the version 2. I think there's 2 versions. It's a 1.0 and 2.0. So I bought both and try to get both going, but none of them still anywhere near presentation wise.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, we're very glad that you could make it in tonight. and I'm glad that we could hear you because like earlier on, obviously we had some technical
Yeah.
issues. So why don't we continue with the conversation? So the latter portion of our show, which we're just crossing, we're going to talk about, I guess, a difference like working with resin, what these guys have worked on as examples, I think, and kind of just to give you guys like a 101 and things to watch out for if you guys have not worked with resin before or are working with resin but might pick up something new with our discussion coming up. So where do we want to kick it off?
Let's do a roundtable about a few questions, few personal questions, see how we all handle it differently, right? There's a question that we've been asking, and that's just like to start off like nicely. Do you feel like there's a difference in resin colors? Does a resin color will give you a different build experience? Or we can start maybe with Xiao.
All right, so it's like I have been working in the 3D printing company, and we do use different type of resins, and obviously they have different colors. We have clear, so we have yellow ones, and we have white, and all different stuff. For clear ones, we're definitely using for the ultra clear project, and for clear parts, and you can see those resins in the resin kit as well. And for the to work on it, and I think if your kit is in gray, will be better because it's the color of the primer. So any defect you can see it clearly. Unfortunately, if you have a white resin, then it's really hard to see, to be honest. And usually, if you have a white resin, it's touch different. It's like it feels like you have something left on it.
Yeah, I've also noticed with 3D printed resin, because it's UV cured, it's slightly transparent. So when you finish your 3D print, it doesn't react to light the way you expect it to. Like when you finally prime it, then you can finally see all the surfaces correctly.
Yeah, exactly that.
How about you, Sheldon? Have you come across any type of resins that have like different effects or like surfaces when you see them in different colors?
Usually I hate white since it's really hard to check your parting lines and stuff like that. It's just blank, so you have to prime it with whatever 1000, like Mr. Surfacer 1000 or whatever resin primer. AK is, I guess, the newest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And to jump into that, like I guess a good question to add is like, how do you prep your resin? When you first receive your resin, various channels, when you open the box, prepare the kit to work on, what do you do?
Smell it. Smell the whole release. Smell it.
Yes.
Glorious.
Oh, nice.
But you shouldn't. You really shouldn't do
that.
No.
I think let's start. If I was to do that, definitely know the warning. So if this is your first time, and this is just my POV on this one, if this is your first time working with resin, you're dealing with actually viscous materials. Just because it smells nice does not mean it's healthy at all. So definitely use protection like face mask or have a good ventilation system. Make sure that no particles or when you're sanding down stuff are there.
Absolutely. Sanding is the one thing you need to watch out because these particles get stuck in your lung and literally you will die. Or will stop breathing. You'll suffocate in resin dust, and that is something you don't want. I had this.
Do you guys have any other?
I have that experience though, because I work in the finishing in the 3D printing company. So basically, I was doing sanding all the days for like 40 hours per week.
Wow.
40 hours per week. 40 hours per week. So there's one time my lung got really, really bad, and it's like I have to take my day off, and that was during the COVID time. So
just a slide here. Little Fortune, we're gonna answer the glue and baby powder and all that glue stuff in a bit, and we're gonna put them connecting. But it's part of the process that I think we're gonna.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean that's the thing, right? The first thing I do is watch. Well, I mean I open the windows. Even like just opening the box has like a distinctive smell. I think that's why they all come sealed usually, just because like the smell can be like quite aggressive. in terms of protection, I guess that's the main thing, right? Ventilation, wear like a respirator, yeah, stuff like that. Then after that, when I open my kit, I often I think you have to go piece by piece, right? And you have to analyze the quality of your build, because resin is sometimes a hit or miss. Seeing if like there's holes in there, seeing if there's a lot of flashes. So flashes is when basically the mold gets together and then everything that like leaks out. You want to clean that out, like remove that. Cleaning your resin, basically making sure that your mold is perfect. Well, I mean, I usually clean before priming. Do you guys prime before cleaning?
Clean before priming.
You clean before priming.
Yeah.
I clean just a little bit, but I do a lot of weathering, so the bumpiness doesn't bother me.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes. I'm dirty.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Good
before
to know.
actually cleaning, I need to wash the resin part.
Oh
first.
yeah. I totally
that's
forgot.
the
Totally
first of
sorry.
all
Yeah.
things.
Oh, and the
Yeah.
parts count. That is really important. I mean, you don't want to find out you are missing 1 or 2 parts. Since resin kit doesn't have any after sale.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
unless you can get hold somebody online.
Often that's it. No quality control and no aftermarket sales.
There's a comment here for wet sanding as well from Quinn.
Yep.
Just ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That keeps
Nice.
the dust down a lot more.
There's a few products that's just been released by Gun Primer, I think. There's the Void, which is like a dust absorption thing, and I'm fascinated by
Of
it.
course you have one. Of course you do.
Guys.
How much do
Oh,
those
man.
things cost again?
200
yeah.
something.
Thanks to
200
thanks to
something.
Gun Primer for the sponsored element here. Shout out to them. Don't forget to check out gunprimer.com and save when you use my discount code AOMECHA10.
Nice.
That just paid for that, so we're good.
So there's another thing also is that all these resin kits, when they're molding together, they have a release agent, right? And the release agent is something you have to really watch out for, because release agent means your paint will not stick to it. So you need to really wash them off and make sure that everything is washed off. Let's go do a roundtable on what is your product that you use, right? What kind of product do you use for cleaning your resin? I personally use for many years. I mean, in the States it's called Purple Power. In Canada it's called Super Clean by Castrol. It is watch this. It's a brake degreaser, but it's basically like a very corrosive soap. So it will kind of like really like help your resin and everything. What about you guys? What do you guys use for washing your resin?
Super clean and the 99% alcohol. Well,
Yeah.
to be safe.
Yeah, that's true.
I just use soap and water.
Soap and water. That's actually
Yeah.
like something like I think I tried to go overboard with the super clean, but a lot of people say like soap and water is just like as good. Like Dawn. I don't know why they always recommend
I mean,
Dawn.
it's already a degreaser, so it's already going to do what it needs to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Have
so
you guys?
What do you
I'm
guys?
sorry.
Did Sheldon say what he?
Yeah. He said super
So
clean.
yeah,
and-
for me it's dishwasher and alcohol. So
Okay, got it.
Why? I'm curious about the alcohol. Why do you guys add alcohol?
well, it's like that's what my company does. Like after we do it with the dishwasher, and we just dip into the alcohol just for extra cleaning.
Okay. Does that
Yeah,
get
it's
maybe
pretty
the
rough.
residue of the soap off?
I think so. It's like
Okay.
I'm not so sure why, but that's the process we do.
Hmm.
And it also cleans off some like I think it dissolves some like extra resin as well.
Mm.
There are actual
That makes sense.
legit products. Like I think it's like Resin Cleaner. I think Gaia Notes makes it. I think Moto makes it, but only in Taiwan. But it's not available in North America right now, I think. There is another product I would like to recommend to all of you. I don't know if you guys probably have one, but an ultrasonic cleaner. So an ultrasonic cleaner is an ultra vibrating system that basically auto clean everything you have in there. That's a beautiful machine. It's like $30 on Amazon. So
$30. Like,
I know, right?
Really?
It's a small one.
my
Jeez.
70.
Okay. Wish list right now.
Yeah. Don't forget to look at the description, guys. So the Amazon product list will be there, so you can help me out with.
Nice.
No, I'm not gonna do.
I was like, wait, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's an amazing product. Honestly, like it works super well, but it's a bit too clean because it's like one package. So what? Okay, pro tips. You grab a glass bottles, you fill your ultrasonic cleaner with water, and your glass bottle is filled with whatever cleaning agent you want, right? Well, soap will not do anything, but like if let's say you put like a purple power, you don't want to put purple power in your machine and have to like have residues in there, whatever. So you put it in the glass bottle and you put your parts in the glass bottle, and the vibration will vibrate the water and then vibrate your glass bottle and your item, so you actually don't have to wash your machine every day, right?
Oh, I've also heard a trick
Cleans
with
it at
just.
the same time.
I've also heard that people put it in Ziploc bags and it does the same thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like a conductivity of vibration, I guess.
Yeah.
So wait, you could put the stuff inside a Ziploc and then put that inside the thing?
Yeah, so you don't get soap inside your ultrasonic cleaner and all of the debris and stuff. It just stays inside the bag, and you still get the agitation.
Yeah,
As long as
that
it's not
works.
like packed with water, it's gonna be probably like half water and just breathing space.
Well,
But does that?
it would be soapy water.
Yeah, you put soapy water in the bag.
Yeah, and then regular water on the outside.
Okay, I was gonna say, is it just like sitting there? Like, does it move? Like,
Yeah.
okay, good to know. Yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah, and after that, let's go see what do we have. Yeah, so after that, I guess we get on to how do you fix your resin after you wash it, right? Do you have any tricks? Okay, so what is like a bad thing that has happened, and how did you fix it, and with what, right? Kaz, you have a personal preference?
Well, any modifications I'm doing, if I need to fill anything in, I just use regular epoxy putty because it bonds to it pretty well, and it's the same color, the type that I use anyway. And as for fixing things and stuff, I guess I just use super glue, and then if I need to bend anything, I can just use heat and just bend something back into place or give something a little bit of movement or something, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that is worth mentioning, like the classic bad stuff that can happen with a resin kit, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of them is having like a bent part, and heat is usually the way to go to. I've heard a lot of people using hot water instead of heat.
Right.
Like heat guns, I guess, is fine because it's like hot air and not fire, right? Fire, never use fire.
Yeah, and it depends on the size and thickness that you're trying to bend as well. Like hot water probably won't heat it up enough.
Nice.
There's a question here from Q. What's the warp like on resin kits?
Yeah, the warp.
Take that.
I think Xiao had he actually told me I was trying to print a what is it, like a giant Godzilla figure, and he told me like it's go on Xiao, tell me why it's not a good idea to tell me why it is very difficult to print in large scale resin items.
Well, it's first of all, everything is printable, but if you're thinking about printing the large kit in one shot, that probably is not a good idea because it's like, first of all, it's really large, and large means you have the big flat surface base. And so why the 3D printer is printing the layers out, it pulls the resins, right? And so all the parts going to be warped like that. So and it's going to be causing a lot of deformation. I think Kas have more experience on that one.
Yeah, actually, Kaz was telling me earlier, like exactly in the show earlier before we started about your kit, that the weight of it just kind of like slowed.
I can show that actually.
Example. Yes.
Nice example.
Yeah. So this kit I printed before the pandemic, and it's hollow, but it's still very heavy. And you can see I've got wires here. The shoulders have fallen off so many times, but finally they're stuck there. But now the stress is being transferred to right up here. You can see that crack. The body, it's just pulling itself apart now. So you really got to be careful about that kind of stuff, especially if you're making your own stuff, because resin will bend and break eventually.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
so-
share some horrible things. I mean, if anybody can see it.
Oh, hang on. Are you
Yeah.
sharing your screen? Is it this guy? Oh, I lost the share screen. Can you try it again?
Oh, okay.
Because there was this I guess pertaining to that last question about the warp.
Oh, look at that! You're famous.
I've seen that before.
Hello.
You're that Kas? Oh my god, there's more than one Kas? No. Get out of here.
My doppelgangers.
Oh, he's groveling now. Yeah, that's right. Worship the cat goddess. Okay? There you
Yay!
go.
Oh, and my other cat is here now too.
Oh, what's the name of this cat? Raiden?
Raiden. Yeah.
From Raiden from Project Raiden or Raiden from Mortal Kombat Raiden?
That was Mortal Kombat. I was going for Mortal Kombat. Personally.
Yeah, and Metal Gear.
Oh yeah, Metal
Okay.
Gear, yeah.
Why not?
Okay, Sheldon, I got your screen up. You're good to go.
Oh my god.
Okay,
is that
yeah.
a fifth
So
tunnel?
this
Oh,
one
no.
is yeah. See, yeah. The resin actually says it will. The thing the resin will bend it back, trying to get back to its original casting shape. So actually, this one forced the plastic part, the white original banded part, and with it. So I knew that like all the
Holy
fin final
crap,
is
no.
like this.
That's a funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a funnel.
Yep.
Oh, holy shit, that's a funnel. Oh, what did you do to it? Put it back.
Oh wow.
Put it back.
So I have never encountered something like this. Like the power of the resin actually bends the plastic with it.
Yeah.
So
Because it has a memory shape, right? So it
Right.
wants to come back to its original memory.
original
Yeah.
form. Yeah. So that's why I took this picture. It's like
Oh my god! Wow, that is fascinating.
That's some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
there.
so-
illustrates it so well.
I felt that. I don't know about you guys, but I felt that, like,
But
in
sometimes
me.
that's it. Like we mentioned, one of the method to fix that is heat. Various
Yep.
methods like heat guns are usually like high heat enough, and you can try to bend it. Sometimes it's just a no go, right? But like I think modeling is the whole job is not giving up on trying to fix things. That's like half
I'm
the
already
job.
in my head. I'm trying to fix that. So the actual solution for that,
Yeah.
hear me out. Okay, the actual solution to that: buy another new.
Yeah.
Don't mess with it. Build it, paint it, put it in your shelf. Admire it once in a while. Maybe dust it. That will solve the warping. I'm again.
Oh my God.
Just throw more money at it, you know, it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. And
Awesome.
I think we can also cover a few other flaws that exist. I mean, like fully deformed parts or bubbles. Like I think it can come, I guess, in the same category where like because resin is a viscous substance and the viscosity might be too high to release the bubbles. If you're not a professional, I guess, at casting, like heat will release the bubbles. But you are a professional.
Hang on. I want to hear this.
I have something to add.
Yes.
When you are using resin, they do something called degassing,
Yeah,
where they put it
exactly.
in a pressure pot and force all the bubbles that exist in the pre-mixed mixture, like the runny pre-hardened mixture. It just like foams and just all the bubbles, all the air is released out of the resin. So if they do a bad job of that, or if they don't have a degassing chamber, then it'll just be full of all these little pinholes everywhere. It'll look like Swiss cheese.
Oh my God.
Exactly. But sometimes they miss some, right? It does happen still, but it is the way to. And then sometimes like my father-in-law is actually he makes like resin dentures. He's literally a resin caster.
Oh, cool.
And basically he has one at home. And I walk in and I'm like, what do you have? Like was that the pressure pot, like a KitchenAid or something? And I'm like, why do you have that in your lab? And he's like, yeah, it's to remove the resin thing from it. I'm like, oh. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's very interesting. But
Let's talk about pinning and gluing real quick. It's like we touched base about that earlier on. I know there was a question about that as well. When you guys are securing your parts, right? Like, do you guys tend to do one or the other? Like, what are your preferred choices when you guys are either test fitting or? There we go. Hang on, Kas.
Oh, is that going to be an ASMR? Oh no, okay.
Not ASMR. ASMR from. Actually, can you do it anyway?
Magnets. When magnets click together.
Oh yeah, I could
is-
do that too. Oh, come on, focus. I want it focus.
Focus.
Oh, it
Focus.
almost did.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Bring it closer,
we're-
maybe.
So there's a giant rod right there in the middle.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's because it's a huge piece too. I guess it will vary depending on the size that you're trying to pin together, right?
Yeah, I just use the same gauge on everything though. It's easier.
Print big, same gauge. There we go. Awesome. How about you guys?
Actually, I'm sorry. Go on.
I was going to ask these guys, like, do you guys have a preferred method when you guys are putting together your kits?
And
Yeah,
then
basically the same way as Kas does.
Guys,
I've also got magnets in
No,
the body.
Make it click. Make it click.
Let's see, I'll bring it close to my. Oh. It's not very loud.
everybody's anticipation.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not very loud. I guess the mic won't pick it up very well.
John, I'm going to record
Oh,
a bunch of
Yeah, you'll have to.
clicking, and I'm going to send you my version of ASMR for that one. The next audio ammo, guys.
It's still
is gonna be
extremely.
magnets
It's
clicking.
click.
It's extremely satisfying though, because it just like pulls itself into place. Oh, if I line
You
it
know,
up
in
right.
those movies where there's
we
artifacts that just like connects into like this Egyptian like thing automatically, and then that's what it feels like. It's just like kind of like pulled by an energy of.
Yeah. Magnets. What are they?
I was about to play that song. Let's get some insane compost.
Yep.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
No.
So I have a mix of both connections, and then all the main parts are just glued together. So I guess I use all three.
Beautiful. Yeah, I personally I use a lot of magnets. I always keep the same gauge around. I have this one drill with 3mm around. I have my 3mm magnets, and I secured them with I put the hole, the magnet, and then super glue on top to secure the magnet there.
And it just wicks down into it.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Sheldon? What do you use for securing your parts?
Basically just every kind of brass rod I could find, and sometimes I use blue tack for small. If you want to position, like for sometimes you want to preset the poles, and you are not deciding yet, you can just put some blue tack between the joints and try to set it, then do the drill. And it works for any kind of smaller parts too, I guess. Yeah. So.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. I think don't underestimate blue tack. Blue tack is a magnificent hobby tool. Just like putting stuff, and sometimes like, have you guys ever been lazy and usually just kept the blue tack there, and like I could glue it.
What paint on top of it?
I could glue it. I could just use the blue tack there. I'm like, let's just do blue tack. And then...
Yeah,
Oh
I'm not lazy as you.
I'm sure you eventually regret that decision.
Yeah, that's it.
Doesn't it fall apart eventually?
We have a question here from Isamu Dyson. He's asking, how do you even get the pins to line up?
Oh, great question. Go on.
Yeah, so
Yes,
in the 5-star stories kits, they have little bitty divots for where you're supposed to drill, and I found that those all line up perfectly, and I don't know what I would do without that.
Nice.
What do you guys do?
Oh, personally, I guess I figured out myself, but I don't know if anyone else uses that. But when I mostly use magnets, but pinning works the same way. Usually, I'm gonna put my first pin. I'm gonna put one dot of paint. I'm gonna kind of align my part, and I'm gonna look where the paint is, and I'm gonna drill exactly where it is.
So you like stamp it.
Yeah, exactly.
That part. That's a good idea.
And not just paint. Usually I just do Sharpie, like just a bit of Sharpie, and then I put my part where it's supposed to be, and I know that, and I align it to make it fit. And then after that, I realize that, okay, this is where I drill, and then I go in and.
I sometimes use a drop of blood, so I'll prick my thing, and then same idea. It's just
It's just more hardcore.
Sheldon, what do you use to pin yours, man, or to align them?
Pretty much just if it's like a ball joint, I just use pencil to like write the X on it, and
Okay.
put it to the other side and try to mark it and pin it. But sometimes, like for like Kas will know, like 5-star story kits, even for the WSC like workshop Kas one, they don't have any location pin at all. So for those kind, you best just try to glue a bit of it, like super glue, and drill from the outside, and
yeah, I've had to do that a few
put it
times
apart.
too.
Then fill the hole with putty and stuff.
Yeah.
It's surefire way to do it, but it takes more time. But at least you get the exact alignment. You don't have to worry about it ever after.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I see
So
that.
what's the?
I
Yeah,
see
go
that-
on, Cass.
I see that question about the angle, and my solution for that is I always drill perfectly square with the surfaces that are going to touch each other. So no matter what the orientation is, if I drill straight this way and straight this way, then they will always line up. If I'm doing this, then there's no way I'm going to be able to guess what, like it's just too much.
Yeah, so it doesn't
90
matter
degree
what angle
always.
they are for as long as it goes straight in, because then you could glue
Yeah,
it.
if the surface is this way, you go this way, perfectly perpendicular.
Makes sense. Yeah.
What's the non-lazy way to doing this? Xiao, can you let us know?
Well, for one time, John is not lazy on this one.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'm a super. No, whatever. But
Yeah, basically,
No,
I do the same thing as John does, though. So I cannot complain on him being lazy.
yeah.
Well, for that part only, that's not clear. I just want to say hi to everybody on the chat, both on YouTube and Twitch. Guys, you were joined here tonight with Sheldon, Xiao Yang, and Cass, and sometimes, Mecha Osaka over there, Jonathan with his crazy ideas of like how to pin stuff. Again, guys, there is super chat available on the YouTube that was just recently launched. Thank you to Jonathan for using that, for taking its virginity. Holy cow. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, congratulations, and guys that have been, joining us both on Twitch and the new subscribers to Twitch. Thank you so much for their support and all that stuff. John, why don't we carry on with the paint
Absolutely.
and how the application of coloring? Because I think folks might be interested in getting some colors in their resin.
After fixing your resin with all the flash, the pegs, the everything that revolves around fixing the problematic stuff, you want to color it, right? There are actual colored resin, but I think it's not a recommended to even look into that, because it just doesn't make any sense, because the finish is not good or anything. But usually we go into, after it's been cleaned, obviously, primer. So primer is a very, very important part of anything, right? If it's either plastic or resin. What is your go-to primer when you go to resin? So, Kaz.
I always use Citadel rattle cans. There's a color Mechanicus Gray that I just love, and it's like a hybrid acrylic and what's the L one? The other type of paint that starts with lacquer. Yeah, those two. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. But the lacquer in it makes it extremely durable. So sometimes I'll leave it bare even. For mechanical parts that I want to be darker.
Beautiful. Yeah. No, yeah, I've always been interested in the primer. It sprays well. Yeah, like, is it thick? Is it like, does it act like as a surfacer? Is it sandable?
It's not really very sandable, no.
Interesting.
Well, a little bit. It kind of cakes up on my sandpaper. I wouldn't recommend it for sanding on.
Interesting. Cool. What about you, Xiao? What do you use for priming?
Don't smell it.
Actually, it's the way I smelled it. So coming in on Mr. Hobby 1000 grade. That's basically the universal primer for all the model kits, including the plastic and the resin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What about you, Sheldon? What do you use for primer?
The go-to one I use is I don't think they have it right now. It's called Mr. Color Resin Primer, but I think it's discontinued. That one is the best.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk about it. That was, damn, you stole my line. So basically, that's it. That's true. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Back in Japan, they have Mr. Hobby Resin Primer. It sticks a little better to resin. Unfortunately, I think it's been discontinued. I haven't seen it in so many years.
Oh, I still have like 6 bottle.
Nice.
Wow.
Supporting it. Like,
Either you have
He's
too
got a
many-
whole
Charge
black
premium.
market.
Oh yeah, it's a very good one. Does it use lacquer?
Yeah,
As a
it's
base?
lacquer and yeah, it's lacquer based. And the other one recently I really like is the AK rattle cam for the it's a resin primer too, right? Spread and it feel like the comparable to the Mr. Color. Maybe try that one.
Interesting. Yeah.
Hey
I mean-
guys, just want to circle back before we get too far into this. We had a question from Ben about using glue and using powder.
Oh yeah, absolutely. To fill yeah, basically to fill
I have. Yeah, if you
Go on.
you want to take it, Judd?
Well,
Yeah,
personally, I use bubbles a lot. Sorry, I use bubbles. I use it
Yeah, you
to fill bubbles a lot. Basically, super glue and baby powder is, in my opinion, super glue is a little too liquid. When you add baby powder, it adds like a greedy feel to it, which creates a more putty feel to your super glue. So mixing both together is probably my favorite putty of all time. Like I think I've ditched like the surface putty, like the Tamiyo, and I've ditched like the epoxy. Epoxy, I still use it to make shapes, but I don't do shapes anymore. It's mostly surface details and fixing. So yes, absolutely. Super glue and baby powder is my personal go-to. I don't know if you guys have any experience or any like recommendation, or if I'm wrong, you can tell me as well.
Is that like if it
there's
sticks up? Is it like brittle?
No, it's actually pure solid. It feels like plastic, right?
Wow.
So super glue feels like rock solid. Super glue and baby powder feels like a soft, not a softer. It's a hard. It's like a plastic. It feels.
I got a comment. I got a comment.
Absolutely.
So my mistake. Two part to this one. That question was actually for Little Fortune. This question from Ben will be after that. So we're gonna finish off the question.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
For the powder and glue. And I found the question, Ben. Sorry about that. There was 2 that I saved here, and it just kind of toppled one to the other. So let's continue on with the glue. Do you guys use the same procedure for that, mixing the powder? Xiao or Sheldon?
Yeah, for me, it's like
I'm sharing a screen. Sorry, Xiao.
go for it.
Yeah, this one. I think we can get it right. The MadWorks one. This one is pretty much the retail version of the baby powder mixed with the super glue. But they put it black, so you can get the one on the right of the picture is the Wave one. The one on the left is the MadWorks one.
Yeah.
So
if you want also another brand that I recommend is okay. It's not. I'm gonna say it's the Bob Smith purple glue. The issue is that it is not Bob Smith. It's basically a lock site rebranded for each distributor. You're gonna find. Let me go get a bottle right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah, I use that too.
thank you, Xiao. So which one? Oh, you have the Stevens. You have Stevens International.
Hang on. I'm gonna put that on the big one. There we go.
So
you guys see it? Yeah.
This is like one of the North American standards.
Yep.
Yeah, the purple glue is a gap filling, so it's 5.25 seconds cure time. This one is Steven International, which is a distributor. Bob Smith is another distributor. There's tons of companies who just have like rebranded, but it's Lockside, the original company. You'll never find that name anywhere. They all have like just the second brand branding. In Asian markets, though, like MadWorks, there's also N97 from Modo, and there's a new one that just hit the market, and you can see it in what's his name, Ray Studios videos. He doesn't advertise the brand, but I know exactly what it is. It's Cyanon. Cyanon, I think it's a pre-mixed super glue with talc. So basically, talc is the main ingredient in the super glue mix. And Cyanon, unavailable in Canada or North America. Sorry, guys, you have to be in Asia to get it. But it is, if you can get your hands on that, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Huh. That makes me think that you could mix any sort of fine grainy thing in with the super glue to add strength.
I would think so, except I don't know if it's true or false. I just know that the mix formula is talc and super glue. So also you have to watch out which basically baby powder, but watch out with the baby powder. Some of them are no talc or whatever, and I don't know if that will work. I don't even know. I just heard talc.
Have you guys used any other powder aside from the ones or like other glue and came out with like some interesting results?
I actually use epoxy glue on my bigger kits.
Yeah, that does exactly the same thing. Yeah, that's a very smart idea, actually. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's jump on to one of the other questions to circle back. And I think this is going to be in the mix of things, but like I think it's something that we talked about, the type of kits. So basically, in the beginning of the show, we showed you guys like the conversion kits, the full kits. But we rarely touched about scales. Resin does come in various scales. Almost every scale types are there. The most common ones are for model kits anyways, are like your 144. But the most commons will be like the 1/100 because of the master grade inner frames. Now, there's a question here from Ben, circling back to Ben's question now. Is there any resin kit for 160 scale weapons, or is it really niche to find a certain thing?
It is very niche, honestly, because my opinion is that it is very niche because these things are artist-made, right? The artist builds the kit that he likes. So sometimes you're not always going to find stuff like widely available. I've seen a few conversion of Power GM for the PG RX-72. Oh yeah, G System. Yeah, G System makes a lot of conversion for 160. Actually, that's the thing. G System specializes in oversized kits, right? 172, 135, massive things, and like I don't know if you guys have experienced a lot of stuff in oversized kits out there. Sheldon, you probably have a few even.
Okay, I have to confess. I have a 148 G System high new.
Oh wow,
that's like a little kid.
Holy shit, that's big. I'm just looking at like. Yeah.
There's
nice.
a question here. Just what is that?
It's for adding for the super glue.
For the super glue one. Okay, okay.
Probably.
If you can't find the weapon, I guess that's on that scale, there are 3D printing services that could probably facilitate as a one-off. Shapeways is a good place to check that out. Just be careful because sometimes the quality might not be 100% the best. So if you don't have high expectations, although like I'd say 90% of the time you will get a really decent product. But again, if it's your first time ordering from that, just be wary. Make sure you look at reviews, read reviews, and all that stuff for the bigger scales. And I think I don't know, for me, my perspective, I think it's easier to print bigger scales because like you're getting a larger surface as a plate. But I don't know much about that one. Like, do you guys have any experiences with creating weapons in that scale? Because like I know, Xiao, you're already doing oversized shoes and stuff. And oh, hang on, never mind. I just triggered something.
Haha, triggers. Haha, pew pew pew.
Right?
Oh wow!
So this is a 1-to-1 scale.
Ben, if you're ever wondering, that's a 1-to-1 right there.
Yeah, this is a Warframe weapon that I designed. Yeah.
That is so cool. How many parts are there?
21.
Oh, not bad, not bad.
And is that resin?
I have a Phenom. Yes.
That's a resin. Wow.
I printed this in 21 parts on my Peoply Phenom, and it has a large build volume of like about like that. So if I wanted to, I probably could reprint that guy just all in one piece, but I won't, because when you're printing with resin, there's a good side and a bad side. The side that gets all the supports is going to have a lot less detail. It comes out like kind of muddy, and you have a bunch of little nubs where the supports are connecting. And with resin kits, you actually have a lot of supports versus the little tiny pegs that you have to snip off with your nippers in plastic kits. And even resin kits like the big ones that they're doing with the silicone molds and stuff, they have way fewer nubs that you have to snip off. But yeah, it's a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, the other one is just for injection. This is literally for support, so you need like as much as possible, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, as much as possible without destroying the design. And you want to put it in places that are not going to be seen. So yeah, that's a big advantage to breaking this up into many pieces. So a lot of these are like a top half and a bottom half kind of thing, and all of the supports are hidden on the side that is going to connect to the other piece, so you just never see them.
Interesting.
Wow,
Amazing.
that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's
Yeah.
I think that actually segues into the conversation of creating your own things, right? Creating your own Gundam parts, creating your own guns, creating your own stuff. I think.
Well, before we get to that, we want to finish off the painting application.
Absolutely. Sorry. Yeah.
We keep jumping around.
Yeah. I mean,
so we talked about. Sorry, I'm just looking at our schedule here and topics. So we talked about preparing your resin, preparing, fixing all the deformities, or at least scanning for them, fixing them, pinning them, and gluing them together. Now you are ready to start applying some paints. We touched about primers. So you guys there's the lacquer, there's the Citadel, there's the resin primer. Now paints. We want to talk about, like, I guess once the primer is on, does it matter what paint you use, or do you guys have like a preferred go-to, even regardless if it's primed with whatever primer it's on?
I think I have one. I think it doesn't matter what kind of paint, because the primer is like the base now. It's like it's the connection between, but like the surface is the primer, so it doesn't really matter the paint. One thing I need to say is that if you are attacking a resin kit, you need to be very, very, very comfortable at masking. Because most of these things,
or very good at hand painting.
yeah, that's it. So you can like line everything, or like an oversized kit, it makes a lot of sense. Or hand painting, depending on the scale or whatever. But I usually mostly do I mostly do airbrush. So for me, it's just like masking and stuff like that. But, so yeah, that's it, masking. Because most of these parts, these artists, like, they take 20 parts, but they kind of mold only one, which you end up having like to mask everything like crazy. And yeah.
So yeah, about you guys, like, do you guys paint right away, or like do you guys use like a special kind of paint when you guys are working on your stuff, or do you guys go with your usuals?
I go with usuals. Like for me, it's I only use Tamiya and Mr. Hobby paint, and it's basically universal paint for all the model kits. And it's also depends on the project you want to do. It's like in my company, we use the industrial paint, so it's more solid and it's more doable for the like damages. Yeah.
Is there like a certain amount of layers you need to put on in regards to primer to make sure that it's sealed properly? Because like I know sometimes like different chemicals might leak in and affect the resin itself. It's very rare, but like I know I've heard some stories like that. Have you come across anything like that?
Personally, no. It's like for my resin kit, it's like they are pretty good though. Primers I only use one layers, just make sure everywhere is covered, and then that's it.
Good. Hey, Sheldon, anything on the paints?
I just use the regular lacquer, Mr. Color or whatever, or even Tamiya thinned with Mr. Thinner, and turn it to a semi-lacquer, since it bites better. I use acrylic water type for hand painting. That's it.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much all acrylics.
Water-based acrylic, or?
Yeah, I use the Vallejo airbrush colors.
Nice. And do you guys seal, like, I guess normally seal your work with like clear coats?
Yeah, with Mr. Super Clear is what I use there.
I love how Mr. Super Clear is the go-to for everything. It's like the flawless, most perfect. Like, I've never heard anyone say like, "Oh, I've had issue with my Super Clear." No. Like, I use a water-based one.
You're not using.
I'm like, okay. Well,
you're not using Mr. Clear.
Well, I mean, when you do chrome, you have to watch out for Super Clear but in terms of protection and the protection aspect of it, like Mr. Super Clear is like, it's a hard shell. It will like cover everything and seal everything in and secure it. Yeah.
Now that we're talking about like paints and stuff, I know we asked you guys if you guys have any type of work you guys show this to the folks, like some of the resin work you guys have. Do you guys mind sharing a couple of those? Why don't we start with whoever gets me their screen share first?
We have.
They're working on it. I got one.
Oh, nice.
Kaz wins.
Yeah. That's my 5-star
All right.
stories kit. That's the only legit kit that I have right now of my resin kits that are finished anyway. Yeah, and do you want me to talk about it at all, or?
Yeah, I mean, just like first off, like it's a resin kit. This one is like what your custom made one, and it's 3D printed, right?
No, this one is a 5-star stories kit.
Oh, this is a
Yep. This is one of the Mirages, yeah. And then this one's the custom one that has the damage on it. I had it at BuildCon. I actually made it for BuildCon. And assembled it in the hotel room right before the contest. Was still painting it.
This one was also featured. So if you guys look up Kas Adams, or how would they find it on YouTube? Because I think who interviewed you?
Adam
Savage.
Adam Savage, yeah.
Right.
Norm Chen. Is the one who interviewed me. Yeah, but he's part of Tested with Adam Savage.
Nice.
Yeah. That was a huge fangirl moment for me. I watched Tested all the time. I watched it today even.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more, and we'll switch over to Xiao after.
And then this is my gun.
Beautiful composition with the beautiful.
That thing is.
Thank you.
That's like that's like the most 1-to-1 scale photo ever that I've seen on a model kit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Wow, those plants look so realistic. Huh? How did you do that?
Nice.
Xiao, you good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So here's a little bit of Xiao's work, and this is from the Fleet Mo resin.
Yes, most of the projects are Fleet Mo's, so just in case, here is the Jion Fleet, so the Guajin and the GP class. Also, the Musai Kai back there is Fleet Mo's kit.
What scale are these guys?
Those are the 1700. So these 3 movesets are the Bandai EX model kits. So these 3 are injection kits.
Yeah.
So these 3 are the back, and those are the resin ones.
Can you zoom in so we can?
Actually, I just like I have each shape up with single photos now.
Okay.
So the good thing about Fleet Mo is that they are really, really highly detailed. And in terms of moldings, he used CNC for the prototype. So you can see all those lines, panel lines here is really well preserved.
Didn't that red one you won like Sci-Fi Master of International Plastic Model Society?
No, it's actually this one. I don't know why, but they picked this one.
It's well done.
If you're clicking on the large screen, it wasn't showing large.
Are you trying to show it? It's because of my. Sorry, I just accidentally closed it. So.
Yeah. Show me your stuff.
We want to see the details.
I want to see your things.
Give me a second. Be right back.
Okay. Actually, Sheldon, I'll just skip to you for now. I do have some stuff for you that you forwarded because we were having some issues yesterday. You want to talk about some of the stuff that are on the images here?
Oof. Did you make it yourself?
I'm not even sure if it's in order. Hang on. What's that?
Oh yeah, this one. Before the Kotobukiya kit become widely popular here, so I just cast my own and try to copy the Kotobukiya stuff. Yeah. Sad times. Oh, this one is the pressure caster. So I just modify a pen mixer so it can take 40 psi of pressure. Since like Kas said, one is to degas, but for usual the resin we buy, the 2 type mix, one is the reaction is too fast, so the degas usually takes 1 minute or 2. So this one you just dump in the pressure caster and put the 40 psi of pressure. And so force all the resin to get into every crevices and deliver the bubble this way.
Amazing.
Holy
Yeah.
cow! Yeah, here's another shot of that pressure cooker. What do we call this? Pressure
Pressure
pot?
pot?
Yeah, pressure.
pot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
a
this is what
pen
it comes
mixer.
with?
I got it from. Yeah, this one is just a regular clear resin, but this one gone bad, so it become yellowish.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And these are what like the cast
Yep.
look like afterward.
So these are
That's still a
these
mold.
are basically
No, this is
silicone,
the other
right?
mold. Silicone
Yeah.
mold. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is silicone. There's something a little tip I can recommend. There's because silicone can be expensive. There's two ways you can actually go the cheap ways and try to do it yourself with a 100% silicone from hardware store. It's not
Plaster after.
yet. What? The what?
Add plaster after it. Just use the
Yeah.
shell of the silicone.
Yeah, that's it. There are ways to do it yourself. It's not recommended, but one thing that is super cheap and very, very reliable, Oyumaru. So Oyumaru is it's a children toy molding thing, but when you heat it up, it will become super soft like plaster, and like basically like silicone, right? And when it becomes cold, it hardens around the shape that you had. And then you can actually cast stuff with epoxy resin in there, and it actually gives you like very, very, very workable items.
Wow.
But this is a very do-it-yourself approach, right? The official approach is, like you said, like you cast it you mold it in resin, and then you cast it with you mold it with silicone and you cast it with resin. That is a classic method.
Mm-hmm. So right here, this is like the pink stuff here. This is not a fleshlight, right? This is an actual like, mold.
Oh God. Why?
No, that's not the. That's not the that kind of toy, but yeah, actually maybe it's a good idea.
I mean, you can give it a try if you want to, right?
I mean, literally, we have the technology.
Thanks for sharing that, Sheldon. Do we got your ships again? Do a quick peruse through that, and then we're gonna talk about. I think we're gonna do show and tell with Kas and some 3D stuff next. So you're on deck after a little bit of this ship.
So yeah, it's like in terms of 1700 scale ships, and besides ship, the more fun part is this thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the tiny mobile suits come with the ship with the same scale. So those are 1700 scale mobile suits, all 3D printed, and and so the fun part is painting them. And
nice.
since because they are 3D printed, they always have build lines.
Xiao, is it possible to put one of them in a large image?
It's gonna get buried after, so.
Oh, okay. So that's why we can't see it. Okay. So with these ships that are mainly from Fleet Mo, as you mentioned about it.
These are actually mobile suits are not actually Fleet Mo's. This is from another designer called Tim Wong. It's a Chinese designer. Yeah. So he only sells on Taobao. So basically, these kits are illegals. Technically speaking, these are illegal stuff. So the most impressive his work I have is his Ptolemys.
Yeah, Ptolemy 1 and
you,
Ptolemy 2? Yeah, both of them, right?
Both 1 and 2. So he has his new design is Izumo from Gundam Seed. Okay. And his design I found really impressive is because everything is movable. So like rotation of the what is called the boxes, they rotate, and all the gate is opens. And you can see here the big gap between this. So you see here the big gap, which is because these two parts is separate.
We just see your file browser right now.
Yeah, I think you're screening just the file browser window.
So you cannot see the photos, huh?
No.
Yeah. So can you do it so that you share screen? Yeah, like the whole thing. Like I think screen 1 or screen 2 is an option.
Okay, just let me stop sharing. Let's just try again.
That's fine. Yeah, let's try it again. I really am curious about what you were talking about, like the difference of those details, right?
I want to see that.
Show me those crevices. Show me that slice.
So did you see the screen right now?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Yeah, so you see me talking about this big gap here. So these two parts is separate by colors. So it's a really good idea, but I find this gap is really annoying when you actually want to have the really nice product at the end, because this is an assembly gap.
Yeah.
And it's huge assembly gap. So it's like I kind of appreciate his design, but at the meantime, is improved the difficulty of building and painting.
Yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose of having color separation if you then have to fill the gaps again.
Yeah, so it's like this part is like I have to use putty to fill it up, and after that it's all masking.
Yeah.
Or masking circles. That's fun.
And,
wow, but it's super detailed. That's what I like about these. Like you see the scale beside the keyboard. I thought they would be smaller, but they're actually like pretty decent in sizes.
Nice blue.
Yeah, I love that.
Sometimes you're surprised actually how big. That's the new one he released. It's the Eastern Kas.
Show.
And also the land battleship from Universal Centuries.
Oh, you were talking about the 1/1700 scale mobile suits next to it.
Yeah. And then you can see the actual mobile suit size comparison, and then always issues with those big gaps. No.
Ooh.
I think the first time I met you, you were painting those minifigures, and I was like, "Wow, this guy is insane."
What do you use to paint things that small? Do you use a toothpick?
Actually, use a tiny brush for the figurines, like the face paintings. Those really tiny brushes. Yeah, those. And also for fixing those gaps, like this gap this big, and I just gonna put a styrene inside it. Instead of all the putties, because putty will never fill it up, so you have to find something else big enough to fill it up first. Then you cover it with putty.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a.
How about melting plastic to go in? Is that recommended or no?
I think it's gonna be too hot. I think it's gonna deform the resin.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my excuse, I guess.
Yeah. Can we show your big win, the one that I'm drooling over?
Which one was that?
The original one, the one you said you won, like the sci-fi master award or something.
I like the Tamiya cement on the back there. That's like perfect.
That's gonna be all the way back there though, because I have a lot of photos ready here.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, at least we see everything at the same time. Like it's.
So that's the Botonic second, and
Oh, beautiful.
And the Trojan horse.
and also this,
Oh, we're going for a trip, guys. Look at this. Don't forget to hit that space.
So this is Feeble ship now.
Holy cow, that's clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone.
Do you have the new Lundo Bell one? What's that one? The Argama 3?
New Argama, right? The one from Unicorn, right?
Unicorn, yeah.
Yeah, that one E2046 have recast, and I have that kit, and it's a nightmare.
I was gonna say, oh really? Like,
the case in point, huh?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. We're coming. We're getting. Oh, look at that. That one.
Yeah, this baby here.
So explain, like how. Explain, please. Like this is great. This is amazing.
Okay, so it's a Montreal local contest first of all. So the overall level of the contest, I'm pretty sure is beginner level, because people here they build the model kit. People here is like a kind of mediocre level, I guess.
Wow. Repping your city.
Plebs.
Yeah, because people just build their kit for fun. They're not really built for like competition level.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So just basically I put this thing on the table, and they like it, and just like they choose this one for the best of the show actually.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's deserving. Looks really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, for the thrusters, and I just like testing out the clear blue on with the metal color on the base.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That really adds something there, doesn't it?
Yeah, but for the thrusters, I find Fleetmore have his own way doing thrusters, and I found it's really impressive. I can show. I'm just gonna close this for a while. Just let me find the photos, and I will share my screen again.
Sound good. Let's. What's this one here? Just before we get back to you, Xiao, I just want to put in some time to Sheldon. We're sharing right now. Sheldon,
oh yeah, this is a 5-star story one, so it's pretty much same as the Kas one.
I think
But
this
we have a
it's
black
called the
screen.
Resin.
Yeah, okay.
There we go.
There.
So
I want that
pretty much it's yep. But I just spent way overboard. I tried to do like 4 mirror
Yeah,
finish
exactly.
on this
I
one.
noticed.
So,
Wow.
it took, so it's
It's very shiny.
Oh wow.
Whoa, whoa! Oh my God, the shine. That was good.
yeah. So but it took me 1 year, I guess. It's just I built it, I lost
1
momentum,
year.
I put it aside, and I just since the hair is just pain in the ass
Yeah.
to make like you have to clear coat it and try to buff it and then try not to break it.
Yeah.
I think I break 4 of it. I just if I can say fine, I don't care. I just want to get this done with, and so pretty much that's it.
Wow.
And the other one is I think the same as the Kas one, but her one's better. If anybody can see it.
I think it's relative. All of you guys are
Yeah.
doing wonderful work.
We just have different styles. mine's really weathered.
So
I've never done like a clear, like a real gloss coat thing, and I think I would fail pretty bad because my workshop is very dirty.
So this one is just the Kas one is a heavily modified one. It's in the striking pose. This one's just
That's true,
standing
that's
up.
true.
Yeah.
You have another shot, or is this what you wanted to show, Sheldon?
Let's see. I cannot see it. Pretty much. I guess that's it.
That's it. Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah.
okay, fine. Let's go back to Xiao. Are you ready for your thing, by the way?
Yeah.
All right, see it. Let's check out this baby back ribs right here, guys.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
Dead
so
aft.
So that's basically the new method I discovered to paint the engine fat, which is in case you don't have the LEDs or the engine inside of the engine, there's too much details and you really don't want to replace that with LED. So basically what you do is you paint white inside color first, then you circle the outside green with a sky blue, then it can give like the lighting effect. Then you paint outside with the burn iron. So at the last, you just like wash the panel line inside the engine with oil color blue. Then it gives out all the details and the burning effect. And I really love this effect, and I learned it from Fleet Mode himself.
No, amazing.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah,
Even a tiny ship support. Oh my God. The cargo ship. Wow. Are they to scale, those two?
Oh, you can see the thrusters, your thruster effect right there.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so 1700 scale, the same scale, and the cargo ship come with the ship together. This is the new one. This is the new release from last year from Fleet Mode. So
When was it released?
I got it from a friend from Hong Kong now. Yeah. So this is the new one.
Every single time you post a picture, I think you're releasing like product pictures. And I'm always like, oh, cool, a new one that just came out. No, that's my work. And I'm like, fuck, okay. Your pictures are so good.
Hey, language. You can't say figures here. Wrong effort.
Yeah, that's pretty much for me now.
Amazing.
You're really
Awesome.
making me want to build some ships myself.
Well, so,
I know. It's like, it's addicting, isn't it?
So cool.
it's like after watching Fleet Mode so many times, I want to design my ship and I want to print it out because I do have access to the printers. Only thing is like I need to get working myself because I'm too lazy to get my 3D work done.
Yeah.
There's a question here from Neon Wave. He's asking, those are from the narrative, right, Xiao?
Yeah, yes, from narratives.
Also, they are recent. Nice.
Okay, guys, we have something special today. We mentioned on the post that we're gonna have some live 3D sample work by a professional, super extraordinaire. What else did we use as a big words, John? From here, it was expert, professional, god level.
Specialist.
So Kas Adams, if you guys don't know, she is a 3D artist for Warframe, and she's worked on several weapons. And today she's going to do a quick, hopefully, wait, is this your screen or did you
That's Sheldon.
That's Sheldon's screen, sorry. There we go. We got a screen for you guys here of her giving us an example of how she designs her stuff. And these are the stuff that you would 3D print in resin, right?
Yeah. Yep, I'm going to 3D print this, kind of like I did with the one that's falling apart behind me.
Yeah.
But
Can you,
I've learned some things.
Can you press that button that you did like yesterday? That like
yeah.
how you lay it out to. Oh yeah.
So
I love that.
I'm
So
still.
this is how you would print it, right?
Well, I would take each one. Yes, these would all be separate parts, but I'm going to divide it even more than this because I'm trying to color separate it so it's easier to like mask like I won't have to mask every little piece this way when I paint it. Yeah. I'm still working on dividing it up. That's why there's still some black here because I keep changing my mind about stuff.
And one thing, like not just resin, but in terms of custom, also is like one thing to work with and think about is that you'll have to paint this, and you have to keep this in mind that you want to have hell painting it into one piece because it's so easy, right, to glue everything together and just have like the finished product. But then after that, you need to realize like things might not that be easy afterwards. Right?
Yeah. And like
There's a question here. What software is being used? There's a question from Isamu.
This is ZBrush. Yeah, no, I don't have perspective on it.
So if I would go and want to learn ZBrush, how many years and what would you recommend would be my first approach to it?
Let's see. It does take some time. It also depends on your art background too. Like if you already know how to design and stuff, then that's like half the process, honestly. Not that layer.
Like I mean, I think I'm qualified in mecha aesthetics,
Okay.
but I don't think I don't know what you mean by your art background.
Oh, like
Can you draw good? Yes or no?
yeah, basically, do you have an understanding of the 3D space? Do you have an understanding of positive and negative space and flow and all that stuff? Because if you just focus on the technical skills, there's a certain point where you'll hit a plateau where you're just getting frustrated and you don't know why, and it's because you need to also nurture the artistic side of it to be able to, if you're making your own designs, that is. Well, I guess that applies to everything, honestly. You want to like get used to how proportions work and everything like that. So like I've got pretty exaggerated proportions on this guy.
Yeah.
Quick question for you. Yeah, go on, Xiao.
Okay, so I think it also depends on the style of the way of modeling you use. For example, from Kat's perspective, I think all she uses is sculpting, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. So it's like in terms of if you're not really good at sculpting, you can also use the traditional 3D Works way, which is like you build a base model and then you use vertex to adjust it.
Yeah.
And you control each surface to do your modeling in that way. So that way you have more like hard surface instead of like organic surface. So if John wants to start 3D modeling, maybe that is the easier start comparing to like sculpting, and it depends though.
Yeah. Like even my technical stuff, I tend to favor really loose organic style. I can end up with a really hard surface look, but it's just workflow things. You can do either way, and like I actually started with hard surface, I guess. Well, like low poly modeling and stuff, the way games used to be before ZBrush existed, and before you had something that you bake textures with and all that stuff. I started with box modeling.
So from modeling these pieces, what are the steps that you go from to getting it to actually print in resin? Can you do like a quick step by step, or if it's not too long kind of process?
Well, I start with a sketch, which I have and I can share. Here's my sketch, and obviously I do have an art background, so. But you don't have to. Well, come on, man. You don't have to have an art background to put together a good piece of concept art, even if it's totally original. You can kit bash with 2D the same way you do with model kits and stuff, and just arrive at a design that way, or like just draw over something. Yeah, and then after this, then I'll block it out very loosely in ZBrush. I have some of my old sub tools here from when I was still fiddling around with shapes and didn't know what I wanted.
Right.
These block out shapes are extra super rough. They're just blocked in to get the silhouette and that kind of thing.
That's crazy, man.
And then I just refine. It just gets more and more detailed. And the head is the furthest along on this model right now. So then I have this piece fully detailed.
Nice.
You just keep zooming in. And yeah, this is what I'm detailing all the parts because I want to print this fairly large. So you have to be like cognizant of that. And then when I print it out, I have to also be cognizant of making sure I have a nice large bad side. So on this piece, I want to keep all these details, right? That's a lot. But if I look at this side's very empty. I could orient it like this, and then all of my support structures can come down here, and you'd never see them because and then on these blank areas, even though it's on the surface here, like an area that you would see, if I have supports on this, they're easy to sand off. I would never be able to sand them out of this. So those are all the considerations I go through. And then I've also got some images here of printing process. So where's a good one?
While she looks for that, Sheldon, question for you. Have you worked on like printed resin direct, or have you always worked on like recast for the builds you
Pretty
work
much
on?
cast.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is my slicer tool. I have a bunch of my Lupus Rex hands here. This is the final product of that.
Oh, wait.
I have one of those copies. I just couldn't find it again because I put it in a box to make sure that it's not like lost, and I go lost the box, which is great.
Yeah. So here's what I was talking about with the color separation. I experimented with this and found that if I didn't break it apart, these dark areas and the light areas, they're just too small to be able to try and paint white over this dark gray. And maybe I could have gone the other way and had a light primer, but I didn't have any at the time. And yeah, this is just a lot easier to do. So here's how it looks all separated out, and you can see on the left side the hands that are intact on the little support trees, and then to the right there's all of the support trees with the pieces removed and then assembled on the far right.
So there is. So I was watching. Is it on Crunchyroll? On Crunchyroll, there's a thing called what is it again? Ban Presto Coliseum, and basically it's figure making, right? And you learn that they define it pretty well as the traditional style and the new style. The traditional style is basically kit bashing, modifying, and doing stuff like that in a traditional way, right? What we do as modelers, and we can build our models. And then there's the new way, which is computer generated. That's how figures are made in newcomers. And this is like the new way of making figures. And honestly, I don't think I could scratch build this ever.
Yeah. The amount of detail that you can get out of a 3D printer is just insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Like if I zoom in on this, like
I was gonna say there's like details.
like the layer lines on this are smaller than the ridges on my fingerprint. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Do you have any more to go? Like, okay, Dad.
Yeah. I don't want to leave without showing you how it looks coming out of the vat because it's cool as hell.
Yeah.
There's pieces of the gun and another.
So when you do yours, so there's always like this gunky thing residue on it, right? How do you wash that off?
Isopropyl alcohol.
Okay, I bought the right thing. Okay.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, the vat it's pretty gross looking.
Yeah, like even though it's still dripping, like there's always a residue on it, and I was like, it wouldn't come off with water.
Yeah.
So I was like, I ordered some alcohol, and I was like, okay, that seems like the right idea.
Yeah, and then after you do that, you also want to put it in UV light to cure it the rest of the way.
Oh, so you have the UV light machine. Oh,
Yeah. Here's my two printers. The little baby one and the big boy.
Nice.
Nice. Wow, that's an impressive setup.
Yeah, and as you can tell, I also spray my primer in there because I have ducting running out to the window, and I've got a furnace blower blowing it out.
We got a question from Xiao here. What do we got, Xiao?
Yeah, so it's like my question is like, how do you deal with those wasted resin, the liquid stuff?
The liquid, you can keep printing with it.
Yeah, but like if I say the resin sometimes is not good anymore, so like how do you get rid of it?
You have to take it to a site to dispose of it. I've just been collecting it in a bucket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with my.
There's a question here. It's like wondering how much this 3D printer is.
This little guy I got for $300 a couple years ago. This is a.
Holy shit! Is that an Eligo Mars?
It's similar. It's an Anycubic photon. They're about the same size though.
Yeah, I literally just bought one.
So,
Sorry, yeah.
And then the Piapoli Phenom was $2,000. So.
Oh, that's easy. I can get one. I'm gonna buy one tomorrow, guys. No,
well,
there is.
There's also all the cleanup and everything involved. You have to buy all this stuff to go with it.
I might as well just buy a person for that. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Are we good with that? That's the process, right? Awesome.
Amazing.
Cool. Well, again, that was some really cool stuff, especially with the 3D printing, because like you always see the kind of like the final product, but like seeing it from the background. Thank you for sharing that, Kas. Kind of get a little bit of perspective for me, anyways. Like to see like how it's actually printed, like going up. That was kind of cool.
It's really awesome.
We're approaching our last segments of the show, and again, guys, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your insight on this stuff. A couple of questions before we get going, and then maybe just do like kind of like round table and just discuss about it. For people that are trying to get into resin for the first time, what kind of advice, I guess, would you guys recommend? One, either starting to get into the hobby or trying to get into the resin, keeping that in mind. So why don't we start with Xiao? What do you think, man?
Basically, it's like resin kit is kind of like a plastic kit, but it's like just more sanding, and just don't be afraid. And also just like be really cautious about your safeties. Like wear a face mask when you're doing the resin kit. And also, it's like I know resin kit, even though resin kit is really hard to find, but it's like try your best to support the original designer. And worst case of all, if you really desire to have the kit, then go for the like recast. And I think that's pretty much it. And the rest of the you saw that you hear the discussion, like the painting wise, is not much different with the regular kit. It's just like if you have an emotion, go for it. Just be careful with your health. That's it.
Awesome. No, thank you for that, Sheldon. How are you doing there, bud?
Doing good.
I know you've worked with a lot of resins before, and we got a chance to see some of your work and some of your molding process, and that container. Obviously, that's like in the advanced stages for people that again are trying to get into the hobby or trying to do their first resin. Like what are some of the first few things you could recommend to them or advise them?
I would say try not do full conversion first. Maybe buy a resin figure, the smaller one, so you can just try to see how the glue works on it, and try to paint the figure so you get a hands of it. Then try to do a full resin one. Since in my opinion, I guess the hardest one to do is the conversion one, since you have to fiddle with the inner frame, and even if it's an original cast, sometimes the the location pin will move since it's just natural of the resin. Since when you cast it, you always have 1% to 2-3% of shrinkage. If you got the recast those ones, there's like 10% or even worse. It's totally unusable. So start small. Just get the if you can try, just get a 135 resin figure and try to set it up first and get a feel of how resin works, and then go to the larger scale.
Yeah,
I guess.
Awesome. No, that's really, really, really good advice there. And guys, don't be afraid to just jump in. Even a small resin, you could get something major out of it. So that's what I think from that.
Yeah. Nice.
And then for Kas, I'm going to change this question up for you. say people are into mecha. Say they're into already. They've done their fair share of model kits. Snipping. They're trying to venture into 3D modeling and 3D printing. And John touched base a little bit about that earlier on, about what are some of the stuff that people should learn first, or grasp first before, or what kind of advice you would give people that want to do what you do in regards to 3D modeling and then eventually resin 3D printing.
Well, let's see. For me, honestly, fan art helped me a lot. Learn from the masters, right? If you want to learn how to design a mecha, then draw some mecha based on other artists' styles, and eventually you'll discover your own if that's what you're after. But if you're just after maybe just making a few modifications and making a design that already exists kind of thing, say you just want a different scale of something and you want to make your own kit of it, then you can just use lots and lots of references. And I would say start with the free programs like Blender. Blender has gotten very powerful lately. You can even sculpt in it. I prefer ZBrush. It's a little bit more. It's definitely more. It's deeper in the. It's more. Yeah, it is. I'm not. I haven't used Blender very much, so I can't say for sure. But I think that ZBrush is a little bit closer to traditional feeling in the way that the tools are set up and stuff. But either way, start with the free tools. Find out what you like, what you don't like, if you even need to buy anything in particular, and then the slicers tend to be free. That's the tool that you use to set up all the supports and the layers and everything. It turns it into images that the printer can print. And I use Chi2 Box, by the way. Yeah. And then you can get a real cheap printer. They like the one that I started with was the Anycubic Photon, very small, but I literally printed this mech kit with it. It was it was like 50 parts because it's so small I couldn't fit very many.
Nice.
But you can do amazing things with that thing. And there's so many new ones out there since I started that are so cheap. So don't hesitate. I mean, there is cleanup stuff, but it's simple enough once you get used to it.
Nice.
Awesome. I'm gonna go back to thank you for sharing that, by the way. I think that's a really good starting point for people to just do their research, check out some stuff, but try it. I think again, point with the free softwares, amazing, because that's definitely a stepping stone for, especially if you don't want to have if you don't have the resources yet for it.
I think
absolutely.
All the hobby in general is start small, adventure yourself into something cheap or free, and then evolve into it. See what you need, and grab what you need. Not buy something expensive that you don't need, right?
Yeah, I call that toolbox syndrome. You don't want to just collect parts for your toolbox. You want to do the thing, and you only buy parts that you know that you're missing, while you're making something.
Okay. All right. Nice. No, that's really, really good. Swinging back to Sheldon, I know we touched base about casting and stuff. For people that are interested in doing some casting, recast of materials, what are some of the advices or things for them to watch out for when they're doing that?
Protection, since the resin film is really, really dangerous, and once you smell it, it gets into your lungs. So wear ventilation stuff at buy the slowest resin you can find. I mean, sometimes when we get I think the aluminum cast or something. When you mix it, it only got 60 seconds of your pot time, so it will solidify after 60 seconds. That's way too fast. And yeah, if you don't have any degassing equipment, that's unworkable. So get a resin that solidify after 10 minutes or something like that. So you have plenty of time to put into your molds and even squeeze out some of the bubble by hand if you don't have any of the equipment.
Nice. Awesome. No, thanks for that. That's actually good because like it's things to watch out for because like people tend to just dive into it and they're like, oh crap, what am I doing? So be prepared for that. Yeah, go ahead, Kas.
Add something. If you don't have a degasser of any kind and you're making your own molds, if you can orient the mold so that the large side is facing up, then the bubbles can rise to the surface, and that can help you get rid of some of the bubbles.
Yeah, that's
to
good.
know.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, go, Sheldon, please.
Another, if you want a cheapest degas chamber you can buy, just go to grocery store. There's the containers that you can just use pump to pump it. It says you basically just need to lower the air pressure inside of a pot. So that one actually works, and it only costs you what, $30?
I never thought of that.
Something.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It says my first casting, I just used that, and it actually works with slower resin. They set slowly, so if you create not a perfect vacuum, but the atmosphere inside of the container, it will basically act as a degasser.
Nice. Very nice.
Last question I got here. We're gonna go swing back to Xiao on this one. Ships. I'm totally hooked on getting a freaking ship. I don't know where to start. So I'm sure these guys probably have like the people on the chat or even Kas over here, because I know she's sweating for one right now, same as me. What would you recommend? Where to start, and like what would be something you would personally recommend as a beginner level for the ships?
Okay, first of all, it's like make sure what ship you want to build, and then search for the plastic injection kit if there's one. Because going for the resin is like kind of like a last resort. It's gonna cost more money, especially without C3 period, and especially for us, which is not in Japan.
You have to keep in mind these are very, very, very limited run in a very, very exclusive event.
I can just show you my screen right now because I can show you how expensive they are. It's like without the C3 period.
Okay, so Kas has a $2,000 resin printer. I don't think it matters for her how much it's gonna cost.
Yeah,
I'm kidding, Kas. I'm kidding. Oh wow. Okay, what are we looking at here? Holy cow! Is that 1,000 yen?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's like
80,000 yen. So that's like $900.
$900.
Yeah, it's original price for this one. The original price for this one is 23,000 yen. So it's basically like 3 or 4 times higher than the original prices. So this is at the second hand, which is sells like outside these streets. Like they are original kits, they're legal kits, but it's just like resellers jacking up prices. So which is you're thinking about like third of the revenue is not going to the original designer, and so always follow designers' Twitters and see what new stuff he happens. He is making up, and then just like go for C3 and ask for your friend who is located in Japan, and also
next time you're there, I'm just gonna stuff your wallet with money and then bring me back something if you're going.
I don't know about this year, but last year because of the COVID, so C3 is online, and even though it's the only ship within Japan, but you can always contact a Japanese warehouse which does international shippings. So in that case, at least you have a Japanese address.
Yeah.
So the C3 can ship the item to the warehouse, and the warehouse can ship the item to you.
Okay.
But there's to circle back to circle back to E2046, right? And in convergence with C3, there's a lot of E2046 will pay for position and lineup for purchasing these kits will buy like tons of these kits, recast them, and basically scalp. Like scalpers in events like that, it's unfortunate, but it's part of the game. Like they will buy position in line to make sure, and if they sell it for 8-9 times the price, well, they make back their investment.
Yeah, but sometimes if you're lucky, you get to meet Meijin Kawaguchi while you're in line. So
Meijin Kawaguchi like show up in every C3 shows. Like if the C3 is hosting in the convention, there also that you can go to the convention and meet him in person. He's definitely there.
Yeah, he's always hanging out.
That's so cool.
Max Watanabe also, he's just hanging out in the crowd. He's just like walking around, and then you kind of cross him, and you're like, "Was that? What was that?" He's like, "Yes, that was Max." I was like, "Holy shit!" And like, I'm freaking out like a little girl, right? And then everybody's just like minding their own business. He's just like a regular guy over there walking around. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Awesome. Well, I think we got a lot of good points, lots of good stories. We went from the 101. So hopefully the audience tonight took back something inspirational, motivational. If you guys are very curious about resin, feel free to chat us up, find us on our on the community websites. And maybe we could do kind of like one-on-one, maybe where people could find you guys. Let's start with Sheldon. I know you're part of. Where would they find you the most in regards to the most active community?
I think you can find me on the GUNPLA Facebook most of the time. Just ask for Sheldon.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, like some of his works you also could find there and find Sheldon there. Let's see. Who do we have next? Let's go to Xiao. Let's do Xiao. Where can they find you, Xiao?
So basically, mostly active on my Twitters, and I share a lot of my works, not only my works, but also a lot of man of culture stuff. So if you're interested, Twitter is my main battlefield. Also, I also share my work on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome,
beautiful.
Battlefield. I love that. I'm gonna steal that one of these days. And Kaz, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter. My handle is Syncresis, and I also have an art station, which is also Syncresis. I'm Syncresis everywhere that I'm at.
Awesome. And Raiden over there is just having a field day. I love it. He's going to town.
They're hungry. They want their dinner.
Awesome. Well, not to keep you for too long, guys. John, you have any final words for our guest tonight and our audience?
Yeah, I mean, don't be scared to attack resin, right? I think we covered a lot of how and basically what to approach, and I hope that we made it easier for everybody to jump into it and see if they like it, jumping from plastic to resin and back and forth, and enjoying the hobby even more.
All right, final thoughts, guys. What do you guys have? Let's start with Kaz.
Resin is awesome. They've got so many different designs that wouldn't fly in Gundam, It's really interesting to explore everything that resin has to offer.
Nice. Sheldon, final words?
I guess, resin is awesome. And if you want something that is not offered by the mainstream, pretty much you can look it up and see. Like I think I remember, for me, it's a crossbone Gundam. Before MG, there's nothing. There's only one. I think it's Jeff Kong 97. That's the only resin crossbone Gundam you can find until the MG. So, yeah.
Rare to find items. Oh, that's a good point. Good point. Xiao, final words, man.
So basically, don't be afraid of resins, and also don't be afraid starting to learning programming 3D and 3D modeling, because then in that way you get created the stuff you own, and resin is the way of making that dream come true. So it's the most easiest access way for your personal stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's why I'm working in 3D printing company.
High five!
Yeah, team high five. All right, I'm just gonna do our quick shout out to our partners for the show, guys. Don't forget to check out our online community over at Side 6. This show and most of our members are active there. So facebook.com/groups/Side 6. Also, we have MSMN Studio. If you guys are looking for model kits, tools, and materials, check them out, guys. MSMNstudio.com. Also, one of our major partners, USA Gundam Store. Check them out, guys. www.usagundamstore and save with my discount code AOMECHA10. And lastly, AOMECHA Live, currently on break hiatus. We'll be getting ready for season 3 towards, most likely now is forming as beginning of March. So hopefully I'll see you guys back in those episodes. And that is it for tonight's show, guys. Thank you so much. That was so informative. Learned a lot. I'm probably going to buy a ship after this, to be honest. But yeah, thank you to everybody on the chat. Big shout out to everybody. Also, shout out to Tigress, who also purchased a subscription, a 2-month subscription on Twitch. Sorry, I missed it earlier on, but thank you so much for that. Guys, yeah, just want to say bye to everybody. John, you have any final words to our audience?
Thank you.
There we go.
I'm actually going to jump on. I'm going to jump on some resin now. Actually. Yeah. All
right, guys. From us to you guys, we'll catch you again next Thursday, 9 p.m. EST, I believe, and we have a new episode lined up for that. It's going to be a fun one. New guests as well, but I would love to have our current guests back as well on future episodes because you guys are so awesome and informative. And hopefully, again, we're going to have more exciting topics to talk with our fine folks here. Okay, that's it for the show. Yeah, till next time, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.